Welcome back. We have officially decided on a name, Chit Chat with Chels. So now you get to chit chat with me.
Yay.
We are back again with Jesse, my husband.
It's me.
I'm still getting used to saying that
Why?
because it's been 3 weeks
Oh,
as of yesterday,
I understand.
which in turn is why we are having a wedding-themed episode. Everything about weddings.
Bridezillas and such.
Bridezillas and such. So, how do you think our wedding went?
I was just really nervous about the amount of people that were going to show up, and then we didn't get near that amount of people, which settled me down.
Yeah, we still had a lot of people, though.
There was a lot of people, yeah, but I think that the biggest thing for me was, like, I wanted things to turn out exactly how you wanted them. I still feel that, like, weddings are for women.
I mean, to a point, I feel like you had a lot of, like, we made sure that you had a lot of say in certain things that you felt you wanted a say in, which I feel like doesn't happen a lot.
I agree with that. I guess I just, like, the whole... I'm trying to figure out how to say this without being rude. But, like, the whole, like, Disney World and Hollywood, they kind of make weddings, like, oh, they got to be, like, huge and extravagant. And then, that, like, I feel like that makes a lot of women, like, oh, it's got to be like this, and it's got to be perfect. And,
It's
like... There's gonna be hiccups, and then I don't know. I just still feel that, like, the whole thing is for women, and then the reception is for everybody else.
well, and it's hard too because when you're the one planning the whole thing for a year, 2 years, however, we planned it for a little over a year and 3 days. And then certain things don't go the way you thought that they would or the way they were planned to go, or things don't. It's very hard.
Yeah.
I mean, for the most part, we paid for everything ourselves. So, like, when things didn't go as planned, I tried not to let it bother me day of, but.
You did a good job of hiding it. I'll give you that. That's not something you're normally good at.
I did my best.
I mean, like, there were so many little things that we didn't think about, though, like an internet connection for the laptop or the cell phones to play music on, or
we're waiting to walk down the aisle and we can't get the computer to connect to the speaker.
I'm standing in the doorway, and, like, most of everyone who was at the ceremony could see me. And my dad just kept looking over at me, and I'm just shaking my head, like, sorry, like, we'll get to it soon.
And I am in the other room, and I'm, like, peeking my head around, like, I didn't know what was going on, what was happening.
I was kind of getting
what
mad.
We were going to do.
I was getting a little mad. But I'm like, just whatever. It's not...
I think they finally got my phone to connect.
I truthfully don't even know.
I think it was my phone, because my phone ended up on the DJ studio area for the whole night. That's where I finally found it. Because Jesse's niece was our DJ, who just turned 13. So, like, she did a great job.
Yeah, I love everything
she didn't even need the microphone. She was just yelling, and I'm like, okay, great, it works.
And that was something else that we should have taken into thought or consideration, was that we never hooked up. We just plugged the mic in and just let her eat. Like, we didn't adjust the volume or anything, and that's
oops.
Yeah, that's where everything.
You don't think about that.
It went wacky, but then like, I had my cousin just. At first, we did, like, 3 tables to go eat, and then I'm like...
Everybody was waiting, and they're just, like, getting frustrated, and they're hungry, and I'm like, just tell them to all go.
Right, and then I thought it was kind of funny that, like, Steven, my cousin, which is one of my groomsmen, he's like, do you think that, like, I should get up and, like, make sure that there's like 2 lines of people going in there.
Yeah,
I'm like,
they were
well,
only
that's a good
going.
idea.
They were only going on one side of the table,
Right?
instead of 2, which we had enough like tongs and spoons and stuff that they could do both sides. Once they did that, easy peasy, everybody got their food, good to go.
And thankfully, like, Steven was on top of that shit like all
dude.
night.
Dude, he freaking, once he realized, so I was drinking my White Claws. That's what I had to drink that night because we did a BYOB. And he realized that I was drinking those, and he looked at me and he goes, "Where are they?" And I told him what fridge they were in, and he goes, "Okay, if you need one, just let me know." I said, "I got you. I'll just shake it in the air." I think he got me like 2 or 3 that night.
Dude, yeah, he came in clutch, man.
He was ready for it.
Sure. Yeah, and I'm like, I haven't really talked to him since then. I probably should. I mean, he is my cousin. I mean, we have a snap streak, but whatever.
We were also on our honeymoon and off
Right.
work and stuff for 2 weeks, and last week it was getting back to normal every day. First full week of
and then
work.
back to work for me. And that's fun. But yeah, I mean, it's just, there's a lot of things that you're so focused on thinking about that you don't think about some of them little things. And that's, if I was going to give anybody advice, it would be to pay attention to some of the little things.
Yeah.
That you're like kind of skipping over. Yeah, you want to make sure that your centerpieces are right and your people are in the right spots and all that kind of stuff, but make sure that if you're doing your own DJ setup, make sure that people can hear you talk when you have a mic in your hand, because there's 100 or 150 people sitting in there. Everybody's talking, so you have the
they
you got
couldn't
the
hear
music
us.
playing, you've got people talking, and then you're trying to say, "Hey, this table go get food," and everybody's like, "Huh?" So I'm looking at the loudest person that I know,
Ryan.
and I'm like, "Hey, dude, let him know," and he did.
Oh yeah, he did. Well, I was trying to yell, and I can talk loud, I can yell, but I cannot yell like he can yell. It just doesn't work. I will also say, any tips for future brides? Make a photo list that you want and stick to it, because there was quite a few photos that, now that I think about it, I wish I would have gotten.
Yeah, like Ryan and I don't know if me and Ryan have any pictures. I'd love to have a picture with Ryan.
I didn't get a photo with my grandfather.
I hate that.
Yeah.
Well, and like, we haven't gotten our photos back yet either, so
No.
I guess we don't know what she took, but
we know there's certain people that we did not get photos with.
Well, and that's like I was just about to say, like, I don't think that Ryan and I have a picture together since I went to see him in Alabama when I was like 16.
Okay, we need to fix that next time we see him.
Yeah.
Which is hard because he travels a lot for work.
All the time.
But yeah, so I don't think that I did too bad on not being a bridezilla. I feel like I did very, very well. There was a couple things that I had to get very strict on, but I did my best.
I don't think you were bridezilla-y at all. I mean,
I tried.
Let's face it, the groom probably always gets the worst of the bride. For the most part.
Yeah, to a point.
But there's also things that, like, within your party of women that you need to get clear.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if you want something done like this, it's your wedding. So you have to say that. And you've got to get your point across. Like we said in the last podcast, like my dad has said, if I say this any other way, you might think that I'm trying to say something else, and I'm not.
Yep. 100% agree with that. 100% agree with that. It's not an easy task. If I was a more wealthy woman, I would have hired a wedding planner. However, however, logically, not everybody can do that, and people have budgets, and we were lucky enough to find the venue we found, and it was cheap enough, and it worked out.
I honestly think that for all the worries that we had, I think we knocked it out of the fucking park.
I think we did too. I think everybody had a pretty good time.
Yeah.
I unfortunately did not get to say hi to everybody. Like, there was some people that were there that I didn't even know were there. And I'm
I
like, oh, I'm sorry.
I tried at a certain point. Once I got a good buzz going, I'm like, okay, like I want to make sure that I talk to everybody. So like, I made sure to go say hi to Brad and Chad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Margot was there, and I had to go say hi. I absolutely had to go say hi to her.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did as good as I could. I think we both did.
Well,
I mean, it
yeah.
was a busy day, you know, and everybody knows that too. So like,
It was a busy
try
day.
not to beat yourself up about that.
And things will go wrong. I mean, we went back to the venue at 1 a.m. the morning, basically morning of the wedding, to drop off some food, and the fridge was bleeding because of the meat
I forgot all
thawing
about that.
out. And there was literally blood just coming out of the bottom of the refrigerator, and we had to clean it all up and figure out how to make sure that it didn't happen again.
Right.
It was things happen. I called Jesse, and he's like, what's wrong? I told him the fridge was bleeding, and he was down at the venue within like 5 minutes to help us.
Let's be honest, it's not really far from here. So
Well, no, but still, me and my sister were doing our best, and I'm like, you need to get here now. Like, I
you
can't.
didn't even say that. You were trying to keep me at home. Like, no, dude,
No,
I'm
Caitlin
coming.
was. Caitlin's like, oh, we're good, and I was like, no,
I'll help.
get down here.
Yeah.
So things will go wrong, but we did it. We're now married officially.
My beard is sticking to the mic thing. I have to talk into the tip of this thing though, because if I talk like this, yeah, I got to talk right at the end of this.
Okay, well, figure it out. You got to figure it out.
I'll hold it.
You look ridiculous. So I have quite a few stories. They're from quite a few different subreddits. The first one is r/bridezillas. Is where the first one came from. And it says, Bridezilla ruined our friendship of 20 plus years. Right, so best friend of many, many years got engaged. Immediately asked me to be bridesmaid. Was thrilled for about 0.2 seconds until she said, ha, now I get to make you dress girly. Her list of requirements included dress, heels. I had to grow my hair to at least bob length. I had to dye my hair. I had to get a tan, fake or sunbed. And I definitely had to use body makeup to cover all my tattoos. Now, readers, this was a gut-wrencher. Anyone who knows me knows I am an absolute tomboy who feels deeply uncomfortable wearing dresses, etc. But hey, it's the bride's big day, right? I offered to do all except grow my hair out. Not good enough. Apparently, I would ruin her photos with a crap short hair. Argument started, texts and group chats aplenty telling me I was being stubborn and it's for one day and I should suck it up. Back and forth for a while, but around the time my dad was diagnosed with a terminal illness. We mutually agreed my dad was my priority and I stepped down from being bridesmaid to guest. She asked me what me and my girlfriend would be wearing. I replied that we had tailor-made suits for a wedding last year and they would be perfect. She told me she didn't want everyone staring at the two lesbians in suits and that everyone would be talking about us and taking attention away from her. People, I was godsmacked. Girlfriend refused to even go. I told bride unless she was telling all the guests what to wear, she could fuck right off. I went to the wedding. Didn't want to be an asshole who didn't show up, to truth be heard. It went swimmingly. An absolute grand affair with no expenses spared. I left after the first dance to get home to my kid, had been there for 8 hours at this point, and was told the next day that by the end of the party, the bride was sobbing that I left early and ruined her day. She also texted me to tell me the money I had gifted her was nowhere near the cost of hosting me. So we don't talk anymore. Update, I'm getting married. My fiance proposed last weekend. We're both going to wear suits and Bridezilla ain't invited.
Good.
Yeah, she's... Who does that? I'm sorry. If someone asked me to be in their wedding, they know I have tattoos. They know what my hair is. They know who I am.
The tattoos thing is bewildering to me.
It's insane to me. I'm not going to cover up part of my body unless you have a dress specifically that you want me to wear with like sleeves or something that will cover up what you want covered up. Okay, I'll do the dress you want me to do. But growing out the hair, dyeing the hair, dressing in a dress. I'm sorry, if I had someone in my wedding who did not want to wear a dress, who wasn't girly, wear a suit. I don't care.
Well, here's the thing that I'm questioning. Like, I guess I could understand if you had like face tattoos, and they wanted that covered up. But at the same time,
Maybe don't.
you're inviting this person to be in your wedding. You know
Mm-hmm.
full well what they look like.
Yep.
So
Maybe don't have them in your wedding.
right.
Like, I understand you love them, but if it's the aesthetic, I hate that. Everyone's like, oh, it's the aesthetic. I want it to look a certain way. It shouldn't matter.
Right.
Those are the people you want standing up with you.
Right.
You know what they look like.
That's exactly what you should think of first off.
Oh,
Before
100%.
before you even invite these people to be in your wedding, you should think about that. Maybe talk about that with your partner instead of, just saying, "Oh, hey, I want you to be in my wedding, but I also don't want you to look like you."
Right.
That'd be like if I asked Noah to dress up like the fucking Grinch or something to show up.
Yeah, he'd
as
be
my
like,
best
what
man.
the hell?
Right. The only thing that I even asked, actually, I didn't even ask him to do this. He was just like, "Oh, I'm going to go get a haircut so I can trim up." Like,
Yeah.
That's
Much
you.
appreciated.
Right.
Much
Like,
appreciated.
He didn't look bad anyway, but at the same time, like, him and I both wear hats all the time.
Yeah.
So, like, you could see all night that I've got a bald spot growing and my hairline's going back. But, like, it's my wedding. I'm not going to wear a hat. I could have I never did put my hat back on, did I?
No, I told you could after, like, the photos and the dances and stuff, but you never did. I don't even know if you brought it inside.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was just in my truck.
Yeah, I think it stayed in the truck. Top comment with over 1,000 upvotes. Sounds like a horrible human. Good riddance. You didn't need the drama in your life. OP responded, I'm not going to lie, I am gutted. She was a very important person in my life and godmother to my kid. I guess appearances matter more than me, though, so what can you do?
That is truly shitty. I mean, I've got friends that I wanted to be there that aren't around anymore.
It's hard.
And it sucks, but life happens. We grow apart. Other things happen that we're not friends anymore or what have you. And it's not, I don't know. It wouldn't have been worth it to me to reach out to some people and be like, hey, like, do you want to be a part of this day? But I haven't seen you in X amount of time.
It's hard. I mean, I definitely invited some friends that I hadn't seen in years. Unfortunately, some said they would be there and they weren't. Some told me from the get-go that they couldn't make it. I did have one friend show with her husband who I hadn't seen in 5.5 years, something like that. It was amazing seeing her. Loved it, but it is what it is, unfortunately. OP does respond to another comment and says, I think the fact she behaved this way while I was losing my only parent melted my mind. I've only begun to process it properly and digest what a shit show last year was. Hope the perfect wedding was worth it. Mind you, this was posted, at least the responses, 5 years ago.
Oh.
So it's been a while, but she was losing her father, and you still want to cause drama over her wearing a tailored suit, mind you. Like, that would look real good.
Yeah,
like,
it's
tailored
not like
to
they
them.
went to fucking Goodwill and
Right.
got just a suit.
Yeah. But no, good riddance.
Yeah,
Good
I
riddance.
agree. That's too much. I mean, it sucks that a friendship had to end like that, but at the same time, I'm sure you're blossoming as a person,
Right.
without
And
that person in there.
and now she and her, well, now fiance, wife at this point, I'm sure, because that was 5 years ago, were, they got married,
Right.
and unfortunately, this woman ruined their 20-plus friendship and wasn't invited to that wedding.
Yeah, it sucks, but I mean, like I said, probably better off.
Yeah, I think so, too. Okay, moving on. Am I the a-hole for telling my future mother-in-law not to come to the wedding if she doesn't change her outfit? Posted 2 months ago. It's pretty fresh. I, 26 female, am getting married to my fiance, 26 male, in a few months' time. I offered to go shopping with my future mother-in-law for her outfit as she only has sons, and I thought it would be a fun thing to experience together. She turned me down and decided to go with a friend instead. We had multiple conversations about what kind of outfit she would end up with and specifically spoke about how I wasn't okay with guests wearing white or ivory, as in my eyes this is something that should be reserved for the bride. She went shopping for her outfit yesterday and sent me photos for so many beautiful outfits that she tried on while she was still in the store. I answered right away, and we were texting the whole time. I should probably mention that none of these outfits are white or ivory. Yesterday evening, I checked in to see if she had been successful, and she then sent a photograph of the outfit she had bought, asking me what I thought of it. It was not one of the photos she had already sent, and the dress is white. The store she bought it from is not cheap and doesn't offer refunds or returns, which I know from shopping there previously. I was furious. I spoke with my fiance, and he agreed with me that it seems she had purposely been deceitful because the dress is white. We agreed that the dress is lovely, but the color is crossing a line. I haven't responded to mother-in-law yet, as I don't really know what to say. I don't want to be a bridezilla, but at the same time, this is a boundary that I had established before she went looking for an outfit. My fiance has spoken to mother-in-law. He hasn't mentioned my feelings about the dress, but she has told him that she doesn't think I like it. When he asked her why she thought that, she stopped answering. Would I be the asshole if I tell her she can't wear the dress to our wedding? Edit, for those of you suggesting I change my dress, it's already been bought, so that's not an option. We also don't have many guests as we are keeping things small, and as my bridesmaids are not wearing white, there are only 2 or 3 other women coming to the wedding, so suggesting they wear white also isn't going to pay off. Am I the asshole? Or would I be the asshole?
No. It's it's one of those things, man. It's not your wedding. You're not the bride. Don't wear white. Simple enough. Yep. I believe the cat is joining us for this podcast again.
She's always joining us. Top comment, not the asshole. What your fiance needs to do is ask to see the dress, and then he tell her it's inappropriate to wear white. His mom, his issue. He can be a big boy and take care of this for you.
Yeah.
I agree. Mm-hmm. That was one of our big things is you deal with your family, I deal with mine.
Yep.
Because it's not your responsibility to deal with my family, and it's not my responsibility to deal with yours.
Nope.
Yes, he needs to handle it. In parentheses, they put, Mom, we want you to look great at our wedding, but white is just a no-go color. It might look like you are marrying me, which would be totally gross and ruin the day for me. Which is true. But also there's this thing called like enmeshment. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
It's basically where like the mom raises the son to be like her perfect mate and then gets mad when he finds a wife. Because now her son is not, like, going to be there for her in that way.
What?
Yeah. Like, and don't get me wrong, like, raising a gentleman for a son and, like, raising a son that, like, you would, like, as a mate, like, have those, you know, whatever, that's fine. But, like, then to get mad anytime they come home with somebody, like, it's weird. That is
gruelingly close to...
Uh-huh.
Fucking whatever you would even call that. I don't even know, but I don't. I got nothing. I don't know.
I was definitely. It is weird. I was definitely asked about a couple dresses for our wedding or a couple outfits for our wedding that I was no. White was my color. I got to do white. Nobody else got to do white.
Right.
So. Yeah, not the asshole. Tell your mother-in-law, future mother-in-law, or your husband, future husband. It doesn't say when the wedding is going to be. So I don't know if it's already happened. Because I'm not seeing anything else on it. I don't think that... They have not said anything else.
Well, hopefully they got it figured out. It was posted 2 months ago.
2 months ago. Hopefully they got it figured out, because... Nope. That's not the asshole.
No, it's your wedding. It's your, like we were saying earlier, it's your wedding, so you do it how you want it.
Well, and it's so hard because everyone's like, oh, it's your wedding, do it how you want. But then there's also so many people that are like, okay, yes, it's your wedding, but it's about your guests. And in certain aspects it is. Like, yes, okay, make sure they have food, make sure they have a good time, but at the same time, like, they're there to celebrate you.
Right.
It's like a birthday party. It's about the birthday person. Like, it's not, excuse me, it's not about the guests. Like, yes, the guests are nice to have amenities and stuff for them, but like,
The yeah, the reception is for the guests, but it's never, to me, it was never about the guests. It's about you and I.
yep, 100% agree. All right. This next one is from r/2 hot takes. Am I the asshole for being honest with the mother of the bride?
Probably. I'm just saying.
All right. Well, let's see if you still agree with that take once we get to the end of it.
Word.
I'm in a wedding coming up soon. I was asked to be a bridesmaid almost a year and a half ago. I've been a bridesmaid once before, and I know it's a lot of commitment between time and money. But it's my cousin, and we grew up together, and was flattered she wanted me to be involved, so I said yes. Fast forward, we are a few weeks from the wedding. For background, I've always been on the quieter side and not very glamorous, I guess you could say. I know how to look nice and presentable, but I also like to be comfortable in my day-to-day life. They are hiring a salon to do everyone's hair. Each person has to pay for their own hairstylist and makeup. It was brought up a few months ago, and I hadn't decided if I was going to do my own hair for the wedding or not. The closer we got, I've thought I would get it professionally done because it might be easier, but then the bride's mother texted me this. I just want to touch base with you about your hair for the wedding day. I know I asked if you wanted to get your hair done professionally, and I don't think I was given a solid answer. At this time, I would like to share my opinion on the matter. We have hired a professional photographer for a whopping $3,000 for this wedding. And the bride and I would really appreciate if everybody got their hair done professionally, not only for the wedding itself, but also because of the photography. I've spent a pretty penny on this event and would appreciate if everyone was done up by the way that we would like to see. I hope that the way I've worded this doesn't sound offensive. Sometimes when I text things, it comes off the wrong way to people. This felt very backhanded to me and undeserving, as I've done nothing but participate and help with the normal events of a wedding. It feels like by me being in the picture, if I don't get my hair done, I will ruin the picture. It felt like an attack on me and who I am and how I look. I've been nothing but supportive to the bride and the things she wants to do. If she absolutely wanted me to get my hair done professionally, I would have. All she had to do was ask. A little more background. The bride's mother is my aunt. We're a close-knit family, and I would have never thought she'd say this to me. I also responded to her and said this. I will get my hair done. I was already planning on getting my hair done by one of the professionals. However, this text was not well received. It was made me feel inadequate to be in the wedding, and that the way I look and who I am is not enough or accepted. The money that you've decided to spend on the wedding should not be put on my shoulders. I have done absolutely nothing to deserve being spoken to like this, and saying I hope this isn't offensive does not absolve you from being offensive. I'm sorry you feel this is how it needed to be approached. Update. My aunt has responded and apologized profusely and said that she'd like to talk to me on the phone. She said that she has been under a lot of stress, not just from the wedding, but other things. She also said she had a bad day and shouldn't have sent the message the way she did. And just to add, I'm very easygoing and would have just got my hair done professionally if they asked, but they made it seem optional in the first place. Thank you for everyone weighing in. I appreciate all perspectives. Am I the asshole?
No, I don't think you're the asshole. I mean, first of all, it's your aunt.
Right.
If your aunt doesn't know how you are anyway, then, I mean, oh well. But you've seen me, like with my family, my aunts, uncles, whoever. Like, I'm not gonna pretend like I'm somebody I'm not. I mean, you watched me grow up from a kid, so I'm not that little boy anymore. And I've got a fucking opinion, and you're gonna hear it, probably. You know, I keep it to myself if it's necessary. But something like that, like, you know, if one of my aunts was gonna say, like, oh, hey, like, I need, just let me start that over. If one of my aunts was gonna send me a text like that, there would be no waiting period for me to respond to that. Yeah. I would be very straightforward in my response, because, first of all, don't talk to me like that. You're my aunt. So, like, if you have something to say, just say it directly. If you want me to get my hair done professionally, then yeah. And OP already said that they would have done that. So a nice text saying, "Hey, are you gonna get your hair done, or how are you going to do your hair?"
Right.
Because okay, and she's right too about the the photographer and the amount of money spent. That has nothing to do with this person.
No, not one bit.
The only people that involves is the person who spent the money and the bride and the groom.
Yeah. 100%.
Like, hey, holy shit, we spent a lot of money on photography.
Mm-hmm.
That has nothing to do with who is there and who is going to get pictures taken of them.
No, not at all. And the thing is like, there's a comment here and it says, "This is how I think it should be done. If it is that important to the bride and she is picking the style, then so be it, but they should pay." I did not pay for my bridesmaids to get their hair done. However, the only stipulation I had is to make sure there was a braid in it because I had specific hairpins for them and I thought it would look really cool if we all had braids. I didn't care how they did the rest of their hair. Some did half up, some did half down, some did all the way down with a braid, some did all the way up. You know, your sister went and got hers professionally done. The rest of them did them themselves. We had our friend Shannon was over and she helped with hair, and I don't know if you even knew that, but she did Jenny's hair, and it was a lot of fun. I had my hair professionally done. If they wanted to get it done, they could have. But I didn't have the money to pay for everybody to get it done. We all did our own makeup, and that was the only stipulation. However, if this bride wanted their hair professionally done, then they should have said so. And if they couldn't afford it, then the bride should have paid.
I agree. I mean, like, I know it's a whole different story with guys, but I mean, I'm pretty sure Noah's the only one that got a haircut before the thing, aside from me.
Yeah, I think so. And I'm the one who scheduled your hair appointment.
Right. So like Mitch's hair, it does. I mean, he does his own hair. So like, because he does like the whole half shave thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then he like combs over the rest of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like, Mitch can just wake up from sleeping for 45 hours and do this with his hair, and it looks fine.
45 hours?
He probably has slept for 45 hours before.
Okay.
But, and then, like, okay, Ben probably did a quick shave. He's baldy, so...
Yeah, I was about to say, he doesn't really have a lot to do other than, okay, make sure it's good.
Right, and, like, that's not... I don't know. I guess as long as your hair doesn't look like absolute shit, what does it really matter?
It doesn't, and I don't know. I think her aunt thought that she could do and say what she wanted and wasn't going to get any backlash because she's the mother of the bride.
Sounds
that
like it.
Doesn't mean jack shit. That means nothing.
No, and I've seen that before too. Like at one of my friends' weddings, the mother of the bride at the rehearsal was like barking orders at everybody, and like it's. I told her, I'm like, this isn't for you.
Right.
Like, it's your daughter. If she wants somebody to stand over here, then she should tell people to stand over there.
Oh, 100%. And the thing is we did the rehearsal, and once we got to our rehearsal, I realized I didn't know how it was supposed to go.
What do you mean?
I didn't realize how the whole, like, ceremony part was supposed to go. Like, there were certain parts I knew, but then that's why I turned to Caitlin, my sister, and your sister, Kim, and I was like, what now?
What parts are you talking about, though?
Like, when we go to, like, okay, now pronounce you husband and wife, and we turn, and then, like, I didn't know where to go, like, where we were supposed to go.
Oh, like when we stood back by the trees?
Yeah, and everybody came and, like, greeted us and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I was not aware of that. The first time we did the walkthrough, I forgot to grab my stuff back from Caitlin, which was my bouquet. Mm-hmm. So, like, it was just a whole thing. So I was, of course, asking because I'm like, what now?
Well, and one thing that got said to me was like, oh, you're supposed to be on the other side. Like, does it matter?
I don't... Technically, yes, we were switched, but that was back, like, how weddings used to be. Like, the very... formal, like, I never liked that because then the bride's hand is on the wrong side.
Oh.
Then my hand would be next to the officiant. And I always thought that, like, everybody would want to see the ring once it's put on your hand and you go to hold hands.
See, I never even thought about that.
That's how I thought about it.
I bet a bunch of other people never thought about that either. Because, like, even my mom, I think it was at the...
It was at the rehearsal.
It was at the rehearsal. She's like, you're supposed to be on the other side. I'm like, this is how she wants it, and that's all I know.
Right. You're like, you're like, Mom says I'm on the wrong side. I was like, nope, we talked about it. Stay where you're at. And you're like, oh, okay. I was like, yep, nope, we're good.
Whatever. I mean...
Because in my mind, that's what I was thinking.
Right. And I don't think that, like, I'm not, like, mad at my
No.
mom for saying
No.
that. It was like, it is...
Tradition.
Yeah, it is tradition, but that's a good point that you bring up. I never would have thought about that.
Yeah. Because your ring was all black.
Right.
It's a ring. Mine, you know, I had 3 rings, actually. So I don't know. That's how I thought about it. So that's how I looked at it. And we didn't have sides for the bride or groom. Like, because a lot of traditionally, when we also didn't have ushers, so we didn't have people being like, oh, bride or groom, because that's what they used to do traditionally. The usher would walk up to a person who showed up, said, oh, bride or groom. If they said bride, you would put it on one side of the aisle. If they said groom, it would be on the other side of the aisle. So they segregated the bride and the groom's family. A lot of times now, like for our wedding, we're all in this together now at this point.
Right.
So there's no point. So we didn't even have ushers. But we also didn't have flower girls or ring bearers or...
No, but I loved that my niece walked me down the aisle, and I loved that my other niece was the DJ.
Yes.
And they're a huge part of who I am today. Like, I think those girls had a lot to do with me changing my life.
Yes.
Because I remember specifically being on my couch one day and thinking about those two. And it was after I got their names tattooed on my wrist, so I'm like sitting on my couch looking at my wrist, and I'm like, man, I don't want them to have to look at a picture of me to see me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, definitely. I mean, my niece and nephew, they were not a part of the wedding. My nephew helped my brother-in-law make the food, and my niece is very anxiety ridden, so it would not have gone well. It does not negate how much, you know, I wanted them there, and they were both there, and they both enjoyed, well, nephew more than niece enjoyed the time, but it's supposed to be a fun time. But no, I do not think that she was the asshole for telling her aunt that she should not have worded things that way.
nope.
Or even jumped in on things at all.
Agreed.
Next one, it was posted a month ago, so very, very fresh. Am I the asshole? Subreddit. So, am I the asshole for telling my friend at a wedding that the bride hates her?
They were at the wedding?
Yeah, telling my friend at a wedding that the bride hates her. We'll jump in and then you can make your opinion.
Okay.
So for some context, my boyfriend, 27 male, and I, 26 female, were invited to his best friend's wedding. The bride ended up inviting me to her bachelorette party in Niagara Falls. I got to her house the day of, and me, the bride, and 4 other girls are sitting at the table talking while we wait for one more to show up. In the time, the bride starts to talk shit about her fiance's best friend, who is also one of my good friends, saying how she hates her and how she doesn't even want her to come to the wedding, so she made sure to sit her at a shitty table where she didn't even know anyone, then proceeds to laugh about it and says more bad shit about her. Skip forward to the wedding. My friend, the one the bride hates, shows up and is so incredibly happy to be there, keeps talking about how happy she is for them, and so on. She goes on to tell me that she gave them $700 as a wedding gift. I hesitated to tell her at first, but then thought, if I was in her shoes, I would want to know. So I told her what the bride had said about her. She ended up taking the money back and was really upset about the situation. Weeks go by, and I think nothing of it until I get a text from the bride asking me why I lied about what she said. I never lied. She continued to bitch me out, and we no longer talk. Am I the asshole here?
No.
Not at all.
Okay, if that friend wasn't going to give you $700, that's
$700.
That's a good amount of money.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a hellacious wedding gift. Like, okay, let me try and put myself in these shoes. So if someone was coming to the wedding that I didn't like, and I was talking shit, and somebody told that person, but that person was going to give me $700, like, I can't blame someone for that.
No, that's your fault.
Well, and it's like, if they were going to come and just bring, like, $20, like, yeah, okay, I wouldn't have said nothing, right? Like, just leave it be. But, like, you knew that they were going to give, as that bride's friend, and you knew that they were going to drop $700,
yeah,
I would have said something.
Because it was, so...
Boy, I jumped all over that fucking sentence.
Her and her boyfriend were invited to her boyfriend's best friend's wedding. And it was the fiance, the man's friend, who the bride hated. But the girl, whose boyfriend was invited to his best friend's wedding, was the one that the bride said something to. And mind you, they are friends. Not the bride and the girl, but the girl and the fiance's friend. So those two are friends. So if it was my friend, like, so that's like saying that you have a friend and that friend's girlfriend gets invited too, but then it's another one of your friends and those two are friends. And the bride was talking shit about one of those friends.
Yeah, no.
If that was my friend and I knew something like that and they're like, oh yeah, I'm so excited, we're giving $700. Nope. Guess what the bride said?
Hold on. Hold on.
Because that's a lot. That's a lot.
That is a lot. Sorry I got...
No, you're good. It got very confusing. There was a lot of people and the person who posted did not use any names, so it was very hard. Top comment, not the asshole. The bride is just upset that she didn't get $700.
Did she know that there was $700 involved?
Eventually.
Oh, well then, yeah. She's just mad that she didn't get an extra $700.
Another comment, I wouldn't be surprised if this all came out because the bride demanded to know why the friend didn't give them a gift.
Yeah. Not the asshole.
No.
You were... Yeah, definitely not the asshole because you're protecting your friend.
Oh, 100%. Your
really,
friend over
more
anything
than anything,
else.
You're protecting your friend's bank account.
Yeah.
Because
$700, you can do a lot with, especially nowadays. Mind you, this was 1 month ago.
Oh, yeah.
Things are hard.
Yeah, take that $700 and take yourself on a damn trip or something.
Yeah, go do something for yourself. Because this is not... No, not the asshole. Definitely, if you know something's going on, talk to your friends.
Right.
Oh, this one. This one's a good one. I mean, they're all good, but this one was a year ago from Am I the Asshole? Am I the asshole for taking back a shawl my wife made for the bride-to-be after she was uninvited from the wedding? My wife, Lena,
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 Yeah, Lena.
Lena crochets a lot and often gifts it to family and friends.
It's you.
Maybe that's why I like this one so much. When her second oldest brother got married, she made a bride a shawl to wear over her dress in the evening. The bride loved it, and ever since, Lena has made shawls for everyone in her family getting married. Now Lena's oldest brother, George, is getting married again. Lena doesn't have a relationship with George as he was abusive to her as a child. But if she has to see him, then she is polite but distant with him. She doesn't want to cut off the rest of her family because of George. I work with George, and while we aren't friends, we are friendly at work. Lena encourages this. When George got moved to my team, I was going to request a transfer, not wanting to expose Lena to George, as my team does a lot of get-togethers with our significant others. As it is a family wedding, Lena's mom asked if she could crochet a shawl for George's fiance, and Lena agreed. It was arranged that once it was finished, I would take it to work to give to George so that Lena didn't have to see him. Earlier this week, the shawl was completed, and I emailed George to work to let him know that I would bring it in today as the wedding is tomorrow. When I got into work this morning, I gave George the shawl and let him know that Lena and I were looking forward to the wedding. Come lunchtime, Lena called me to let me know that George's fiance had called her and told her that she was no longer invited to the wedding, citing the place that they were having the wedding and the reception at is too small for the number they have coming, so they are having to make cutbacks. However, I was still invited to the wedding. I was mad at this because they clearly only invited Lena to get a shawl, which to me is just rude. If they had asked Lena outright to make one, she probably would have done because she loves to crochet. On my way out of work, I noticed George wasn't at his desk, but the shawl was. I was still mad that they had used Lena to get a shawl, and I just shoved it in my work bag. I left a note on his desk telling George since Lena was no longer invited, the shawl and I would no longer be attending either. On my way home, I told Lena that I had done and asked her if she wanted to go out instead, so not to waste having a sitter. Lena was upset that I had taken the shawl as it was causing an uproar in her family group chat where people were calling her petty because I took it back. Lena wants me to give it back. I don't think I should. They don't deserve Lena's kindness. However, at the same time, I don't want Lena to be upset with me over George and a shawl. Edit, I have messaged the group chat letting them know that I took it and they should be pissed at anyone, then it should be me. But I would also do it again because no one gets to be a dick to Lena. Am I the asshole for taking back the shawl?
I'm a little mixed here because I like that they were in defense of their friend.
Wife.
Oh, that's their wife?
Wife.
Oh, Lena's the wife?
Lena's the wife. And the one that works with George is her husband. George is the older brother of Lena. And uninvited Lena after he got the shawl, but the husband that works with George was still invited.
Oh, okay. Well, I missed a key part of the story.
Yeah.
All right, so no, not the asshole then. Because you're defending your wife. If it were just a friend, then yeah, okay, well, you kind of just took that one and took off running with it, but yeah, it's your wife.
Yeah, that would be like if you worked with my brother and I didn't have a relationship with him and I sent something for his fiance with you to work and then you got a call from me saying I wasn't invited to the wedding, but you were still invited. Yeah. A couple days before the wedding. Top comment, not the asshole, I would have taken it back. It was extremely rude to uninvite your wife, but still allow you to come. No point giving the shawl back now. What's done is done. 19,000 upvotes.
19,000? Damn, all right, yeah.
He was of course deemed not the asshole because he wasn't. Not the asshole. Lena needs to stand up for herself and not be a darn doormat to her family. If they think it's fine that Lena gets uninvited but thinks Lena is petty for you taking the shawl back, then why on earth is there still any contact with them?
I agree with that.
That's hard. It's hard to cut off contact with family.
Mm-hmm.
I've done it, and it's not an easy task. It's hard, and it's not fair that they used her for her crafting skills.
Right.
Like, I craft, and I make quilts and all kinds of things for people, and if that happened to me, I would be really upset, because that takes time, and especially a shawl. I can't make a shawl, and I've been crocheting since I was a kid.
What's a shawl?
So, you know all those things that you make fun of me for that go over, like, tank tops and things, like kind of like a little jacket?
Oh, okay.
But it just kind of drapes over the shoulders.
All right.
But for it to be a wedding one, I guarantee it's absolutely gorgeous. Has to be gorgeous. And had to have taken so much time and effort. And the thing is I feel like nobody can really be mad at Lena because Lena didn't know it happened.
Right.
He took it off George's desk, left a note, and went home.
That's fair.
She didn't know. Someone put, I would have sent it back as an undone bundle of yarn and said, you can have whatever's left back. Not the asshole. Yeah. Not the asshole at all. He was protecting his wife.
Right. Well, what do you want to do? One more?
Okay, so that means... Okay, so I have 3. All 3 are fairly long. So you get to choose. None of my family knows this trip will be the last time they see me.
Whoa.
From Best of Redditor updates.
Whoa.
Or am I the asshole for refusing to tattoo at my cousin's wedding? Also, Best of Redditor updates.
What's the third one?
Oh, that one's really long, so I think we're going to skip this one. But that's just called My Wedding Was Ruined.
You got a quarter?
I don't have any change.
I want to flip a coin.
I don't have one. Do you have any?
I got this thing.
You have our coaster? Okay.
Yeah.
Flip a coaster.
Okay, so heads for which one? You
heads. Let's do heads for... Am I the asshole for refusing to tattoo at my cousin's wedding?
Heads for tattoo, right?
Yep. What is it?
Tails.
Okay, so am I the asshole for being honest? Oh, nope, sorry, wrong one. I'm looking at the wrong one. None of my family knows this trip will be the last time they see me.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, 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 dun. It was originally posted on True Off My Chest, and r/poems. Poems, like a poem.
Like a poem?
Yeah, there's a poem at the very end.
Poem.
Sometimes I am not the best at pronunciating, okay?
I've written a poem for you, my dear.
There does look like trigger warning, infidelity, cancer, bullying, abandonment, emotional abuse of a child, verbal abuse, neglect, lies, mentions of miscarriage.
Fuck.
Yes. Mood spoiler warning, depressing. Are you good?
Holy shit. Yeah, let's go. Here, hold on.
Okay.
I'm going to light a cigarette.
And mind you, this is Best of Redditor updates, so we do know that there is an update.
Okay, well, side note, I'm starved.
Well, once we're done with this, we can start dinner.
Yes. I'm grilling a steak.
Yes, you are.
Delicious.
And you get to figure out your sides because I'm making a stir fry for myself.
Fuck, I forgot about that.
He doesn't eat veggies very often, and when I make my stir fry, he has to figure out what he's eating.
You made me mashed potatoes.
I
You have time for this?
I'll
You
figure
will?
it out.
I love her so much.
Okay. Let's start. So,
Hold on, I'm depressed.
none of my family knows this trip will be the last time they see me.
Dun, 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 dun.
I don't know what that means. Okay.
What?
I don't know. At the top, it has like Best of Redditor updates. It has the OP's username, and it says Satan is not a fucking pogo stick.
What?
Yeah. I'll have to look
Okay.
up what that means. But anyway. So, we are now starting. Firstly, I'm okay. Physically, anyway. Honestly, I have no idea who this is for, but I think I just need it out of my head. The circumstances of my birth were complicated. I broke up 2 marriages, and my family has never been shy about how they feel about me for that. Only one of my brothers has gotten drunk enough to tell me to my face that he resents me for existing. But I know it exists within all of them, at least in some way. I'm much younger than all of my siblings, and there was so much that happened out of my hands that I made excuses. Out of our hands that I made excuses. But my whole life, I've never quite felt part of the family. As a child, I told myself we'd make up for lost time once I got older and we could talk as equals. Now, at 23, I see glimpses of the life I wished I'd had. But in the end, I'm always too much trouble to involve. I hear everything from my father. I had to find out my niece was in a car accident from him. I had to find out my other niece had a miscarriage from him. I had to find out my older brother had had a brain tumor haphazardly on a phone call with my father, which he didn't even know I was unaware of. I've known for a while I'm the only one trying, but for the sake of my dreams, I've given every opportunity for them to let me in. But I just can't do it anymore. I have a psychiatric service dog who aids me in the CPTSD. He is the single greatest thing to happen to me. Not only did he save my life for myself, but he made life livable. He can tell when I'm panicking, and he knows pressure therapy to help me through an attack. He stops me from hurting myself in meltdowns, sits with me until the only noise I can hear anymore is snoring on my lap. He allows me to go grocery shopping by myself. He is my soulmate, and anyone who knows me knows how important he is to me. My dating life isn't thriving, so I took a shot in the dark and asked my niece if she minded if I brought my service dog as my +1 for her wedding at the end of this month. I have to fly across the country to go, so I will be bringing him anyway since I cannot fly alone. I figured it couldn't hurt to see if she could. I figured it couldn't hurt to see if he could not have to stay in the hotel all night. I do not technically need him for the event since I've known every guest and I will be drinking pretty heavily to cope by getting to spoil him with a bow tie. Dancing and a steak sounded like the perfect reward for helping me on my flight. Several times I emphasized that I understood it was an odd request and she could say no if she wanted. She was emphatic that he could come. She said even if I found a date, he could come. I was elated. For once, I felt seen, I felt cared about, I felt valued, and then I got a call from my dad. No one wanted to make things awkward, but the mother of the bride was not okay with the dog being at the venue. I explained that he is a trained service animal and will not impede the ceremony in any way, and I'd of course remove him if he did. Still, he said they didn't like it. I was so tired of hearing everyone else's words through my father. He won't be around forever, and sooner or later they will have to start talking to me. I had one request. Let the bride tell me. When I asked her, she said yes, and until she told me she changed her mind, I was under the assumption he could go. Well, I never heard back. My dad kept dropping hints when I'd call him, but I told him what was expected here. When I RSVP'd, I put my dog as my +1 on their response to let them know I wasn't backing down this time. At this point, I didn't even care if she said he couldn't go. I just wanted to hear it from her. The next morning, I woke up to an email from my father. Not even a text, a fucking email explaining that my niece didn't want me to be the bad guy, but that my dog was not welcome at the wedding. He said he was sorry, but he could still come with me at the hotel if I wanted. Something inside me broke, I think. I think I realized this is truly a helpless case, that they are never going to respect me the way I crave for them to. To this day, not one of the conversations has been started by them. I always initiate, and now the one time I requested direct contact, I get an email. Family means everything to me. Over the last few years, I've redefined what a family can be. And if right now my family needs to be a very damaged orphan and their service animal, I'm grateful I have that much. So I'm going to the wedding, and then I'm never going to talk to any of them again. And the sad part is, I don't think they're going to notice. That was the initial post. Yeah. Which I don't know if you caught at the beginning that her birth ruined 2 marriages. So my guess is both her mom and dad were married to separate people, had an affair, and got pregnant with her. And then it ruined both of the marriages, which is why her family detests her.
Well, that's not her fault.
No, but I've read some crazy stories on Reddit about affair babies and how much they go through, and the family like blames them, and it's insane. But yeah, this was initially true off my chest, or off my chest, something along those lines. Do you want to jump into one of the updates? I'm pretty sure there's multiple.
Yeah, let's do it.
First update. First, thank you to everyone for the kind words and all the advice. It sincerely means so much that so many people care. I want to address all of the questions about why I want to go to this wedding at all. There are plenty of practical reasons that I can name, but the truth is, I need to go for my own closure. I have a strange relationship with death and loss. My mother died when I was 5. My family split up right after. I've lost several caregivers to serious diseases, grieving their death as they lived. I've learned how to navigate my grieving process. If I don't go to this wedding, I will regret it. Not only is it my last chance to see my childhood family all together in one place, but if I don't go, I show them they can bully me. I do not want to make a spectacle of my trauma with them, but that does not mean I have to walk away with my tail between my knees. I'm not scared of them. My relationship is non-existent, but I did see my siblings, cousins, nieces, and nephews fairly regularly. When I was a kid, they intimidated and bullied me into silence, but I'm not a child anymore. I lived with these people. I can manage one night, if for no other reason than to prove they cannot control me. Thanks again for all the kind words. Happy to provide a pup date if someone can tell me how to post pictures from the app. Her responses, I guess I don't know if it's a her or a he. The responses when people told them not to go to the wedding. I spent $700 on a plane ticket and $200 on a suit. Least I can do is go drink someone else's liquor and dance my worries away. Besides, it feels like goodbye. When told to call the bride directly, the last 20 years of trauma will not solve with one phone call. This was their last chance to prove to me they wanted me in their lives. It's not about the dog, it's the fact. All I can ask is to be treated like a person and talked to directly, and they have proven to me that they don't care, so I'm leaving. I already did my job of reaching out to her, and she said yes. Why is it my job to reach out and make sure she hasn't changed her mind?
Was that it?
For that update.
Is there like a closing update?
There's a post-wedding update, so after the wedding.
All right, let's hear that.
All right, post-wedding update. So I went to the wedding. I went about how I expected it to go, though one can never be ready for a spontaneous conga line. Sadly, there was no secret last-minute invite nor any secret plot of which the bride was unaware. She felt bad saying no, so she lied, and she didn't want to tell me that. She still didn't, even at the wedding. No one really said much at all. In fact, the mother of the bride did not speak to me at all. My brother tiptoed around the subject until the end of the night. To his credit, he did apologize for all of the dog stuff. He said goodbye. Strangely, the apology didn't make me feel much better. There was no big confrontation either, mainly because no one cared to listen to me if I tried. As the reception began, part of me wondered how much I was going to miss the people, the environment, the vibe. Really? Truthfully, I surprised myself with how ready I was to leave. Goodbye was short and bittersweet. The venue was pretty and the alcohol was free, so I made the best of my night. But I got what I needed out of it, I think. Getting home tonight felt like a weight lifted off my shoulders. I know more than ever I need to do this, and what I once saw as cutting my family in half, I can now see as clearing space for new family, one that cares. Thank you for all your kind words and the support for my dog. There is also a poem. Says, you don't love me. You love an idea of me you fabricated in your mind when I was a child. I'm no longer a child. I'm far from perfect, but I'm growing. I'm glowing, and I'm grieving the reality that none of you will ever know the person I became. You call it love, but the scars disagree. You hate my hair, my style, my beliefs. You hate me. And the saddest part is I don't think you know you do. And that was it. That's very sad. Top comment, I'm very sad about the I broke up 2 marriages, which implies OOP's mother and father cheated on their respective spouses with each other. The baby didn't break the marriage. The parents did that by cheating.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, that was pretty sad.
It was definitely a sad one, but I think, it is wedding related to a point, but don't say yes to something if you're not sure you want it. And if so, tell that person no.
Right. Well, especially if there was somebody that wanted to come to our wedding that had a service dog. First of all, I fucking love dogs.
Right. Come on in. Let's go.
I would have, if I could have had 5 dogs for my guys, I would have done it.
I mean, we had 5 dogs in the families, but it would not have worked out the way we thought it would.
No, that would have been... Draco would have been trying to have kids with everybody. But, it's really shitty to lie to someone, especially when they have what seems like a lot of mental issues. Did I say that wrong? I didn't want to be offensive when I said that, but you got a lot of trauma and you have
trauma, yeah.
Yeah. So someone with a lot of trauma and, they have all these things going on, and then you're like, yeah, it's okay, but you don't mean it. First of all, learn how to tell the fucking truth. And then secondly, for this person, it probably hurt to cut off everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But
everybody did it first.
Yeah, everyone already did it to them, and it sounds like it's time for that person to make a new life.
They need to find their chosen family.
Yeah.
The family that really cares. You know, yes, it's good that her dad is still in contact with her, but finding everything out through her father,
right?
That's ridiculous. There is a comment on here. It says, I'm an affair baby too. My half-sister, whose family was broken up by my fetus hood, still refuses to speak to me. She's turning 32 this year. I'm turning 31. She still blames me, even though I never did anything to her. The even more fucked up thing is, it's not like our bio dad chose me. He abandoned me just like he abandoned her, just like he abandoned the 2 other children before her. But the only one of his abandoned children that she hates is me.
Ugh.
And that's hard. It is not the child's fault if someone decides to hop in the sack with somebody who is not their husband, boyfriend, fiance, whoever the hell. It is not that kid's fault that they were made.
No, it's not. And
Mm-mm.
God damn. Figure it out.
Yeah, and don't be an asshole. Her whole family, nieces, nephews, cousins, siblings, everybody was that way with her.
That's crazy.
Or him. They never said.
Well, regardless, it's very shitty and unfortunate that this person had to deal with all that their whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And did it say how old they were when they made the decision to cut everybody off?
Let me go back up. I'm not currently seeing any ages.
Okay, well, either way, if they're 20 or 30, that is 20 or 30 years too long to have to put up with something like that.
One of the responses was the last 20 years of trauma will not be solved with one phone call. So at least 20 years old.
Okay, yeah, that's you've gone too long getting your ass kicked mentally, and people can only take so much, and it sounds like they reached the end of the line with that, and I hope that they have found solace in another family. What do we got here?
That is the puppers.
Oh, good Lord.
So cute.
Let's get married again.
They did figure out how to put up the dog tax, the pup tax, and put up the photo, so I had to.
The pup tax is needed.
Yes.
And well respected.
I love the pup tax. He is a 2.5-year-old black and tan coonhound.
Ooh.
Pretty dog. And the fact that this dog does so much for them, helping with the anxiety and the attacks and being able to go to the grocery store and do all of that is just amazing.
Intrusive thought here. That dog, can you imagine having that dog as a trained service dog, but you're like walking it down the street and it sees a squirrel or something like that thing's eyes have to just bug out like hold it in. That's not what I'm trained for.
All I'm picturing is, in the photo that I showed, this dog has a bow tie and everything. I am picturing this dog sitting in a chair at a table at our wedding with a steak in front of him, happy as all get out. That's what should have happened. That's what should have happened.
Yeah, I agree. Let's we'll put a picture of that up on the podcast too.
Yes, so we will.
Just keep that link. We'll get that. Let me see that again. Let me see that pooch.
He's so cute.
Oh, yeah.
He's so cute. With the little orange bow tie and everything. He'd have been perfect. Yeah.
That's
we'll post a link for his photo because he is adorable.
We can just include the photo. Well, keep the link for the. I'll put a link on there.
Yeah, because the photo is on a different update.
Okay.
So I will keep the link and the photo.
Well, lady, what are you thinking about podcast number 2 here?
I think it went very well.
So what's the name? Chatting with Chels or
Chit Chat with Chels?
Chit Chat with Chels.
Yes. Chels is me. I am Chels.
I am chit chat.
No, you're just the one doing the chit chatting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it went really well. I do.
I think. Are you wanting to do like keep a time frame for these? Because we're about.
I was about to say, how far are we?
We're an hour and 10 minutes.
No, I'm just kind of going. I mean, when I'm listening to my podcast and it ends before an hour, I get frustrated because I listen to them when I'm at work.
That's fair. Yeah, I'm listening to like 3 and 4 hour podcasts. Dude, what sucks is like the one that I was watching the other day. Like I can listen to that while I'm at work tomorrow, but I wanted to watch it.
Yeah.
It's one of those that like I would rather watch. But at the same time, they are just sitting there, so it's not really. I think more podcasts get listened to audio wise.
Yeah.
Which, like, yeah, we're doing video and everything, but you know.
But at the same time, like most of the time when I have time to listen to a podcast, I'm at work and I can't have the video up because I work in an office and it's against the rules.
True. Yeah, so
unfortunately
we will in the future we will get some social medias up of this podcast.
Yes. It is in the works.
I'm gonna have to show her how to do all this because I've got my plate's full with social media at this point.
Yeah.
But we're getting there and I'm liking what we're doing.
I am too. I'm enjoying being able to find and read all of these stories. It's pretty new to me. I'm still figuring out my way around it all, but
yeah.
I love it so far and hope everybody does too that's listening. And like, subscribe, tune in, comment, tell us what you want to hear.
Alrighty.
All right.
We'll see you next time.
Yep.